Hey you Mexicans, welcome back to this scenario, where today we're going to be looking at the same one we've been looking at past part 1. What if the three Cold War countries have come to the modern world? For WICSO. This is WICSO. So, yeah. Last video we saw the old empire, Russia, and China expand in their respective regions. And here we're gonna see the wrap up of such expansion. As well, quite frankly, there are a bunch of pockets of land in the old empire that is kind of missing. Because parts of Eritrea and parts of Djibouti and stuff still kind of exist. Which ain't really the goal of this. Which ain't really the goal. They declare war on Somalia, just, I don't know. Why not, apparently. They also fix up Chad and Niger. So, yeah. With that out the way. Oh, yeah. Libya also. They wanna completely remake this entire region in their hands. The old empire pushes into Libya. They take over their entire coastline, as that's pretty much all they have. See, if we look at the city map, that is all their cities. Yeah. So Libya's done with. Chad is well, it's for one cut into two pieces. They can easily get into the capital, which makes that part of Chad collapse, and they already take over this part, so yeah, here you go. As for Niger, they're not doing too bad. They haven't lost that much. However, against the old empire, it's not gonna go well. As I think the old empire would probably be the second strongest country in the world. First being still the United States, of course, but second strongest ain't that bad either. So, yeah. Now we have the remnants of Eritrea and Djibouti. That doesn't last long. Somalia is also properly fixed. Yeah, Somalia isn't really doing well stably. They kind of, like, the old empire kind of just took a bunch of land. And, well, yeah, Ethiopia's done for. They don't have any major cities anymore. And then the Sudan gets cut off in that little bit of ocean access they have and now. Yeah, that's the end of Sudan. Now, with that out the way, we can take a look at a peace treaty, as everyone has been taken out by the old empire. Okay, so the old empire has done a little weird approach. The old empire only decided to fully annex 3 countries. Yeah, about 3, which is Libya, the rest of Eritrea, and Djibouti, which basically didn't really even exist anyway. The rest kind of turned into puppets. as the whole Niger-Chad puppet was rearranged to make just Niger, the rest of Chad itself becomes its own puppet. Sudan becomes its own puppet, with its capital province even intact. And then Ethiopia is its own thing, with Somalia itself being integrated into the country. And yeah, that's the way they fix their borders here. Yeah, sounds about right. But anyway, now that we have that covered, now we have the three countries going to war. Now, remember, these three hate each other, so now they will be declaring World War III basically still in this timeline. Yeah, that's not gonna go well. So yeah, with World War III initiated, we have certain sides being supported. If honestly the remainder, with the old empire being supported by democracies like the US. Actually, they joined the war. Spain, France, and the United Kingdom. Please note, they aren't a part of the old empire. They're just on the same side, making this their color. We also have Russia, whose sole purpose is to basically reconquer the rest of their land. Finland also wants to reconquer the rest of their land. And Sweden, same with them. However, actually, the surprising part is that they're stupid and they just decide to do China instead of the democracies. Yeah, that won't go well for you, as Norway decides to do that. Yeah. Well. As for who supports China, North Korea doesn't, because this ain't the same communist China. Somehow the Southeast Asian allies like them decide to support them. And actually North Korea just changes their mind and decides to give it a chance. No, they don't even connect. So this is honestly going to end up going bad for them. But of course, India has always hated China, and Tibet joins on that war. But Pakistan decides to do the opposite. Wow. Sounds about right. Afghanistan just decides, hey, why not ally with India? We never done that in a while. And then Russia just their only real support, the only real support they get is from their puppets. No one else wants to support them. That honestly just puts them in a disadvantage. They have no support, and well, they're surrounded by people who hate them. Well, aside from these two, they're just neutral. Yeah, this ain't gonna last long, as you can see. France pushes it to Germany, with military access by Belgium, of course, to solely liberate the Germans. They take back the Rhine. They take the Rhineland. The capital, Berlin, rebels away. And well, yeah, Germany fully reunites. That's the end of that. The former Russian government reconquers itself. Yeah, they stay in Kola, but they also basically they work with Finland surprisingly, to take back their souls. And note from this, note for this, they also want, all of this Russia's land. So they take out any major city they have. Honestly, this just leads to the collapse of the former Russian government, which also means that they're gone. Here's the thing, though. Sweden takes over their portion of Stockholm in this, but that's not going to last long. As now the second weakest team here is China's. No, but especially Sweden here, because what the hell is Sweden doing? You honestly just really screwed up here. They take this major city, which basically became their capital after Stockholm was taken, and well, yeah, this whole thing collapses without the, yeah. Anyway, now it's time for the Chinese. Yeah, the main China. Well, first of all, North Korea's just dead. I mean, I saw that coming. Then we have China itself being murdered. They're not really as strong as the China of this world, and it really shows. They take over the capital extremely quickly. And well, yeah, the main country's just, yeah, nope. We have this, yeah. We also have the Southeast Asians. Just, no, they're dead. Then Pakistan. And yeah, that was a quick war. None of the two teams ended up winning in the end. Let's take a look at a peace treaty. Okay, so in this peace treaty, the only real loser here is Russia, as they lost Finland, and they basically got reshifted back to the original Russian government, as you can see with their flag. And Moscow is their capital. Also, they lost their German puppets as they were reunited into one. But, yeah, I'm gonna take out these, allied countries now, as they don't really belong anymore. They were important, now they're not. But yeah, anyway, Russia is, yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot, Sweden is, under Norway now. Honestly forgot to draw in that. Yeah, no, Norway takes over Sweden. Stockholm is still owned by the original Russian government. And then the old empire gains that little strip that Russia had in Ukraine. Because they originally had this as their whole border. Now it's just, yeah. They also lost Carpathian Rus over to the old empire. And along with that, they lost their little Kazakh bits. And yeah, they're connected with the Caspian Sea now. So yeah. The Iranian puppet state expands a little bit. Afghanistan expands a bit into Pakistan. And the rest is puppeted by the old empire. Kashmir is taken fully by India. And they also take bits of Myanmar. China is kind of weird. They did lose land to Russia in the north. They used to own this part completely. Now it's just owned by Russia. But they did gain land a bit in Myanmar and Laos. Don't know why. They still pretty much have their original government. but they're weakened. And, yeah. The old empire won, ultimately, yes. China didn't lose too much. They still lost the war, but they didn't lose too much. Russia's the only real loser, as they don't even exist anymore. They're just under the original Russian government. Which, by the way, before used to be in Kola. They also had pockets around in, Tanatuva and, like, I think Siberia, but those were really operated by the Russian government. They were really their own things. Kola just pretty much became the inevitable, I want to reunite Russia. And that's what happened. Russia's reunited. You could argue that this is more of a Soviet Union, which to that I would say, yeah, I guess. I mean, if they didn't own all of Central Asia, had a bit more of Poland, had Stockholm, and also had bits of China, then yeah, sure, I could give you that. But yeah, honestly, now this Cold War is probably just gonna be. Honestly, this is just gonna start a new Cold War, which will be the United States versus the old empire. But I'm not gonna discuss it because that's the end of this series. So yeah, thank you for watching part 1 and part 2 of this series. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a new video.